What's up, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Fatal Garage. I'm Josh Linnell, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about how to install the EVO stainless steel brake lines onto this Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, as well as how to bleed the brakes after you install them. Now, to get started, we know we're going to be lifting this Jeep up onto jack stands and taking off all four wheels and tires to get nice and easy access to those brake lines. So to do that, you're going to need a jack, which I have here, a Harbor Freight 2-ton jack. I also have 4 jack stands. And you're also going to need some sort of tool that you use to take off your wheels and tires. Getting into the brake specific tools you're going to need for this job, we have the EVO stainless steel brake lines, or whatever brake line kit you decide to go with. We have a power bleeder, which I'll get more into details later on how to use this, but this thing is awesome. We have the power bleeder adapter for the Jeep and Chrysler products. We also have a couple wrenches here. We have a 10mm, an 11mm, a 12mm, a 5/8, and a 15mm. We also have some .3 brake fluid. We have a power bleed bottle, as well as, last but not least, some nitrile gloves to protect yourself. So now that we've gone over all the tools that are going to be needed for this job, let's go ahead and get started. So starting back here with the rear brake line, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect your ABS sensor wire from your brake line itself. It's just these basically clips, and you just slide it out. It's just holding it into place essentially. Okay, so now that we got our ABS sensor out of the way a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and remove this clip that sits right here on top of this bracket that actually holds the brake line in place on the top from moving too much. Sometimes you can get it with a hand, sometimes you have to use a screwdriver to kind of help you push it. Fortunately, I was able to just get it off right now. Next up, we're going to remove this 15mm banjo screw. Now that we got the old brake line off, let's go ahead and finish tightening up the new brake line, which requires a 3/4 on the bottom and a 12mm on the top. Now what we want to do is attach the new banjo fitting back to the existing space, like so. From there, we'll go ahead and reattach it back into the same port that it was before. Okay, now that we got our brake line pretty much in place, off camera, I did go ahead and flip the fitting on this banjo fitting up 90 degrees, as that's the way it's supposed to be. I couldn't exactly see it too well when I was sitting on this side, so it was facing outwards. We do want it facing up. Next, what I want to do as well is I want to somewhat attach this ABS line so that it is just not flinging around everywhere, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach some zip ties and just kind of tether it on there. Since we have these rubber stoppers, obviously, that it was connected to beforehand, what you can do is, what I like to do at least, is to tighten the zip tie tight enough that it can still go up and down the line easy enough, but it can't go over one of those rubber stoppers. I find that way actually works the best, and it gives the most flexibility for your line for no binding and such as you're off-roading. Okay guys, so as you can see, I went ahead and I attached on. We only got one zip tie here. That's really all it's looking like that we need. The rest, the top is kind of, obviously stayed up together off of this bracket, and then also off of the bump stop plate on the bottom. It looks like there's a bracket here that kind of holds this ABS line, so I'm not too worried. The brake line, pretty good movement to it. I'm gonna go ahead and retighten up the top and retighten up the bottom and just make sure it's all good. And then we're gonna go ahead and torque down the banjo fitting, like I said, to that 23 foot-pounds, since I do not have an inch-pound torque wrench. Okay, now obviously we got the rear done for the passenger side at least. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the driver's side rear, get that done, and then I'm gonna meet you guys up front and we'll walk through that process and how it differs. All right, now that we finished up the back, it's time to get to the front. I'm at the front passenger side wheel. We're gonna go ahead and start removing some of these sensors and clips that are just kind of in the way. For these two clips, you're actually what you're gonna want is a body clip puller if you have one, and so that's what I'm gonna go get right now. Okay, I got my clip puller. I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys out. Being careful not to damage the sensor or stress it really in any way, or the cable that is. Now that we've got these two clips removed, now we're going to go ahead and unbolt this number 10 right here. And we're going to want to save that bolt for later because we're going to need to reuse it. So for the sake of convenience and not wanting to break anything, I noticed that this cable essentially droops underneath the brake sensor or the brake line right here. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to break off this tab right here and break off this tab right here. That way we can kind of move it out of the way a little bit and get a little easier access to the brake line. Now with that unclipped, I can easily just kind of tuck it out of the way and it's not in any worries of me getting it nicked or getting brake fluid all over it or anything else. I'm also going to do that with this ABS wire right here. As you can see, I'm kind of just tucking it back away from where I'm going to be working. Now what I'm going to do is just like what we did on the back, is I'm going to go ahead and remove this clip that sits right here. It's a lot easier to get on the front. As you're able to see, what I like to do is just push a flat blade screwdriver in between the brake clip and the piece that it's pushing against, and it just slides right off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to break this banjo fitting on the caliper side, this 15 millimeter. Okay. Now that I broke that loose, I actually kind of just want to leave that here just because I know how fast these fittings come undone and I don't want to get brake fluid everywhere until I'm ready. I kind of had that issue with the back and it kind of just dripped a lot. So go ahead and do a little differently on the front. Now that I got the bottom banjo fitting undone, I'm going to go ahead and come up here to the top and go ahead and do the 12 millimeter and the 5/8 as well, just like we had in the back, to break this line free. Okay, now that I kind of got the top put together a little bit, I still got a lot of tightening to do, but I want to route this now before we go ahead and get started with attaching the banjo side. Just to make sure that we have everything lined up properly, and it should be good to go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and feed this through kind of quickly, that way I don't want to drip unwanted brake fluid everywhere. And again, this is why it was kind of helpful to have those pieces up and moved out of the way. So I'm imagining this brake kit's going to somewhat look like that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to slide this 10 millimeter bolt right in there just now. That way it kind of just is held together. Okay guys, continuing on, I want to reattach this banjo fitting. To do that, I'm going to reattach or put on a new copper fitting. Sorry if I was saying brass earlier on the back. It is definitely not brass. It is definitely copper, and that is my bad. Now that we've got the brake lines reattached, let's go ahead and clean everything up a little bit, get everything wiped down. And then we'll go ahead and start attaching all the common stuff back to it. So what I have done is I have rerouted the ABS line. I've reattached it at its two common points. I reattached the 10mm bolt for this bracket here as well as I have attached one zip tie over on this side. Again, tight enough that I could get the ABS line, but not tight enough that it can easily slide up and down the brake line as there's movement. And I reattached all the other clips into their correct place. Next up, all I have is to torque down this banjo fitting right here to the 23 foot-pounds as we discussed, the same as the rear. After that, the front passenger side will be complete. So now that we've got all the brake lines installed, now we can go ahead and start to bleed the system. First up, open the hood. Okay guys, time to bleed the brakes. As I mentioned, this thing is awesome. I want to talk to you just a second about it real quick. Basically, this allows me to be able to bleed my brakes alone. And so what happens is you're able to essentially screw this on to your brake cap, and I'll show you that. And then you pressurize this system. I like to pressurize to about 10 pounds. And then I like to go around and look at the brakes that we just did, see if there's any leaks, and if there's no leaks, then we'll start to bleed the system. Let's check to see how much fluid is in here. What I did is I purposely left the cap on as we were doing the brake pads, or sorry, not the brake pads, but the brake lines, for a specific reason. That reason is to keep some of that back pressure from the reservoir, so that all the fluid just doesn't run out. Now I can't exactly see this with how the lights are in this room right now, so I'm gonna have to get a flashlight. Now we got that cap off. Let's see how much fluid we actually have in here. And as you can see, we're still above the minimum, but we're not nearly close to the max. So let's go ahead and fill it up to the max. And then let's go ahead and put our cap on, and let's go ahead and pressurize the system. So I went around the entire car. We're pressurized at 10 pounds of 10 PSI, and I didn't see any leaks in any of the fittings and joints that we had disconnected. That means that the system is good and ready to be pressurized and bled, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, to relieve the pressure of this, you want to unscrew this cap very slowly. According to the manual, we want to basically just let the pressure out. This is really the only way. And as you hear it right there. And then you're safe to remove the entire cap. Remember that carefully. If you do get one of these systems, that you do want to do that very slowly, so that way you don't have just pressurized brake fluid basically just go everywhere, is from my understanding. So we got the bottle open. I'm gonna go ahead and pour some of this Lucas oil, synthetic brake fluid, DOT3. I also like to leave a bit, obviously that way you can top up your reservoir at the very end, which you should definitely have enough to do. One extra thing I wanted to touch on before we go ahead and bleed the brakes, and that's the order in which you're supposed to do so. Now, you have your ABS solenoid right here, which is in front of your brake reservoir. The correct order that you're supposed to do this is from the furthest from your ABS solenoid to the closest. For this vehicle, that means starting with the rear passenger side, working your way to the rear driver's side, then the front passenger side, then the front driver's side, and then we should be done. So without further ado, I'm gonna meet you guys over there at the rear passenger side, and we'll go ahead and bleed the brakes. All right, guys, so we're back here at the passenger side on the rear, and we're gonna locate, right here is your bleed screw, and you need to locate this and take off the cover. Okay, now that that's out of the way, on the rear side, you will note that this is a 10mm versus the front side, this is an 11mm, so do make note of that. What you'll want to do is attach your bleed bottle hose to your fitting. I like to just basically set my bottle here next to it. Doesn't really matter where. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay guys, now that I got that attached, I'm gonna go ahead and crack open my bleed screw. So we start seeing really good solid liquid coming through. You see a couple bubbles every now and then coming through. But overall, this should be really clean because we did keep that cap on there for the back pressure. Okay, it looks like this rear is done. Now what you'll want to do is I like to lower the bottle just a little bit, just some negative pressure. I usually pinch right here on this as I'm relieving it. And then as you watch, all the fluid just goes right down into the bottle. And then you can cap the bottle and go on to your next break. So now that we've had a chance to bleed all 4 brakes, now let's go ahead and we'll put the power bleeder away, take that off, and then let's put the wheels and tires back on, and then we should be good to go. Hey guys, just took the Jeep for a test drive. Everything seems to be working great. I really like the extra pedal feel it gave. That really the pedal feel and the extended length is what I was really going for. Obviously this Jeep has a 2-inch Mopar lift on it currently. I've already changed some of the front suspension pieces to be EVO manufacturing, just really like them a lot better and really tightens up the front end. I can go into more details about that at a later video. Anything you guys saw in today's video that may be helpful to you guys, there's links in the description below. Feel free to use those. It does help and support the channel, as well as there'll be a lot more content that's coming out in the future. I have more parts for the Gladiator to go on, a lot of other pieces with that, as well as I also have a couple other vehicles that are kind of unique, and we have some other pieces to go on those, as well as some rallies that we're going to be going on here in this next week or so. And as always, if you like today's episode, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button if you want to see more content just like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.